School Board of Education meeting for Pewaukee Public Schools this Monday, May 18th. Roll call. Mary.
Here.
Travis.
Here.
Ashley.
Here.
Matt.
Here.
Larry.
Here.
And Stacy Newcomer is absent this evening. Was the meeting properly noticed?
The meeting was properly noticed.
And could I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oppose.
We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Well, we're going to step right into our student board report. Ladies, take it away.
Right, good evening, everybody. It's nice weather outside. It finally feels like summer. All right, so for our May board report, the first topic we wanted to discuss was Hope Squad. So Hope Squad's been doing a lot of stuff lately. They recently had a guest speaker, Diane Scott. She's the WellPoint Care Network therapist, and on Tuesday, May 19th, she's coming to talk to students about just like helping support other students with their mental health, but also taking care of themselves amidst final season. And I guess APs are over, but kind of recouping after that. It's a stressful time. Aside from that, Pewaukee alumni, Zara and Ben, came to visit, or they did like a Zoom kind of thing. And it was just an interview, very casual, but they had students come in to kind of learn about the transition to college and how to care for your mental health while having a huge adjustment, a transition in life. And then they're also doing Krita yoga for stress reliefs after AP exams. So they're doing a lot of stuff, and it's all cool and very interesting that they're bringing in a lot of guest speakers for resource.
What kind of critters?
I think they said it was goats. They're having some goats, bunnies. I think there's one dog and a couple of cats. Yeah. It's a local company that does like some critter yoga, so very interesting. Yeah. And then next we have Global Business Insight. So this is kind of their season where they're pairing with local businesses to help them with marketing or fundraising, whatever it may be. So Mathnasium was one of them that they worked with. And the students actually coordinated with Mathnasium in Brookfield on marketing and business development, and they hosted the Math Night at Horizon. That was May 6th. They offered math games and hands-on activities. From what I heard, it was a huge success. And then another half of the students are working with Journey 21, which is a Waukesha County nonprofit corporation dedicated to enriching living and learning opportunities for adults with intellectual or development disabilities. So, and then they also held a Doc Hounds fundraiser for May 15th, and just like fundraising and, earning some money. So yeah, they've been doing that lately.
So Wellness Day is this Friday. We've done it the past few years on the day of the senior picnic. Student council organizes it. There's always a few different activities. So right now I think I'm hosting a walk on the trails and card games in Mr. Kurth's room. But always a bunch of activities. There's like coloring, friendship bracelet making, study hall, like whatever you might need. It's on May 22nd this year. There's, like I said, just a few activities, just whatever that student might find their way to practice wellness, since it's different for everyone, and it's meant to provide relaxation and fun before finals. Junior prom happened last weekend. It was organized by Miss Girdman. She is the junior class advisor and a student-led prom committee. It was on May 9th. We hosted it at the Brookfield Conference Center like we have the past few years, and large arranged for court. There was a lot of people, but Addie O'Connor and Kaden Burtness are prom queen and king this year. For athletics and activities, track has been very busy. Julia Piper, Vanessa Johnson, and Kate Rakowski all have broken individual school records, and we do relay conference, which is a little unique, but Natalie Blackwood, Jill Blackwood, and Isabella Brown broke the school record in the pole vault relay. Girls soccer is currently #1 in conference with a 5-1 conference record. Girls softball is 15-5 with their their conference record. Baseball is second in conference with a standing of 6-2. Lacrosse we have it at a co-op with Ocon. They've been hosting a few games at PHS. One of their most recent games here, they partnered up with the Pewaukee and Arrowheads, and I think even Ocon's chapter of Morgan's Message, just to share the influence that mental health has on athletes and the importance of it. Student council members went to WASC State, that's the Wisconsin Association of School Councils. So it's always just like a conference that talks about leadership and different games. It's really fun. And then the sophomore class held a fundraiser at Chipotle, and there was the spring band concert with, I think, the Pops concert for choir happening this Wednesday.
All right, and then for our salutes and recognitions, we wanted to recognize teachers, as Teacher Appreciation Week was May 4th through 8th. And then the winner of the Open Door Award ceremony categories, that was a really great opportunity, super well organized, and I just thought the event was really great. And then Yearbook did an amazing job of finishing their final yearbook product. And then for our learning spotlight.
So AP testing is finally over. It's been a long few weeks. I know everyone is really excited for it to be done. I know Bobby is excited to get back to his morning announcements. CCIHS, U.S. History, we do like a community night where we do extended PHIs. This year our theme is Pewaukee 150. So we are presenting those at the Clerk House on May 22nd. In Serving Others, like many other insights, we are doing a capstone day. So all the different insight classes present their final projects throughout that day. And then this past Friday, we volunteered at the Women's and Girls Fund of Waukesha Luncheon. So we just kind of helped them set up, check people in. It was a lot of fun. It was an experience that, like, obviously you're not getting from most classes, and it felt like a good partnership because we had already talked to Nicole Wagner, the executive director of the Women's and Girls Fund, so it felt like a good way to continue that relationship.
Yeah, and then for Model United Nations with Mr. Douglas, we had a student-run class activities and bell work that's still going on, but it's just a really nice way to allow students to take charge of their own learning. And then today, we actually had the opportunity to listen to Dr. P.M. DeLume, who was a previous Peace Corps volunteer in Malawi. So that was a really cool opportunity. It was a student here's grandfather, so just getting to hear about the experience and what he learned was super valuable. And then in current issues with Mr. Hassman, they're learning about vexillology and the state flags, and just picking like a state and then focusing on the symbolism and importance of the state flag. And yeah, that's what we have for May.
Thank you. That was an awesome report. Does anyone have any questions for the gals? Then I want to honor Anna. On behalf of the board, this is her last night, her last board meeting with us. A while back, I had the privilege of awarding Anna a scholarship from the school board. And I want to read just a little bit about what I said about her that night. Anna has a powerful story, one that begins with a simple act of kindness but reveals a much deeper calling. Her compassion for others is not just something she feels, but something she acts on. From organizing fundraisers at a young age to leading efforts that have raised significant support and awareness for important causes, Anna has consistently demonstrated a commitment to making a meaningful difference. She speaks to a desire not just to help in the moment, but to create lasting change with aspirations of using the field of law to advocate for others and build a better future. Her empathy, leadership, and drive to pursue justice truly set her apart. Anna has always been a valued member of the Board of Education, serving as a student representative. Her thoughtful perspective and dedication to her fellow students have made a lasting impact. We will truly miss your insightful and well-spoken opinions, reports, and comments that you have shared. Anna, thank you for your service, your strength, and your heart.
Where are we going to school next year?
Madison.
Madison.
Yep.
Jump around.
Yep.
Why don't you just tell everybody about your major and
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm majoring in legal studies on a pre-law track. I'm really excited. And yeah, I chose this path mostly because I've had an internship with the local Pewaukee judge, Melissa Maura, for the municipal court, and it's been a really great experience between visiting circuit and district courts in Milwaukee and just kind of overseeing Pewaukee municipal court hearings. It's been a great opportunity and just further enforced my interest in law.
yay.
They've gone to UW-Madison.
Oh, I'm fifth generation, so.
Fifth generation
Yeah.
Badger.
That
Okay,
is
so you had no
so-
choice.
Yeah,
That is so awesome. Well, thank you.
thank you.
We are gonna miss you, truly.
And then we look forward to the legacy little sister coming to take your
Yes,
spot here.
Whitney's
next
her
year.
little
ready.
sister
She's
is
ready.
replacing her. So. It is great. Thank you so much. Next up, Spotlight on Learning is actually Brian Sniff, our high school principal, is here, and he is going to introduce this year's valedictorian and salutatorian.
All right, well, speaking of fun seniors to celebrate, I'd like to invite Moz and Maddie to step up with me here. So every year we like to recognize our salutatorian and valedictorian of, in this year, the class of 2026. These are two fine students who have obviously persevered and dedicated themselves to their education in a way that exceeds all others, and that's why they earn this particular recognition. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of late nights probably, a lot of maybe phone calls to friends and trying to get that extra little bit of help, seeing their teachers, but they've done it all and done a fabulous job. I'll start with Moz real quickly. I've actually gotten to know Moz really well. He's been a dedicated member of the Principal Advisory Board over the last 4 years, and so I've truly enjoyed that opportunity, but also a member of FBLA, tennis, and robotics has certainly been a very exciting portion of his career here. And Maddie's been a member for a long time of Best Buddies, National Honor Society, as well as basketball. She performs incredibly well out on the court, contributing to some of our state runs. And so congratulations to the both of them. They both have a little bit of a different background in Pewaukee. When did you start here? 4K. In 4K, and when did you start here?
Sophomore year.
Right, so they have some different perspectives they might want to share, and so I'm going to turn it over to you. You guys always have some wonderful questions for these two fine students.
Go ahead, Larry.
I have actually two questions, and I sort of gave Maddie a little bit of a preview. So what are some of the best things or best experiences you had while you've been in school here? That's first question. And then second question is, what advice would you give to incoming freshmen for next year's class?
Gotta have you on the live stream, so if you're not on the mic, we don't catch
Well,
you.
my best experiences have definitely just been like building relationships and making friends, and I think I've done that a lot through basketball and also just like all my classes and saying hi to people in the hallway. So I'd tell people going to high school to really get involved, like I said, join basketball, but also join clubs, join sports, because when you get to be an upperclassman, it gets a little harder to join those things too.
Kind of similar. My best experience has definitely been making really deep relationships with our school being like connected from all the way from 4K to PHS. So I've met a lot of people that I've known for that entire time, and it makes for some really good friendships. And even like when my friends have moved away, it's like I've had a friend move to California. I still keep in contact with him, and that's a really unique experience.
What advice do you have, though, for freshmen?
Freshman. The biggest advice I'd have is pushing yourself to do things that are not easy. Like I know a lot of people tend, especially in their freshman year, they tend to think to not comprehend the importance of that initial groundwork. And I've had friends who they get burned because they didn't try as much in their freshman year, and I see that they're doing so well and later on, but they just keep having that freshman year bring them down. So trying really hard from early on is really important.
I have a question. So when the two of you walk out of here May 30th after graduation, and you think back on your years here at Pewaukee High School, is there a moment that you'll say, that's what I'm most proud of? That's what I'm most proud that I accomplished?
I think just like moments where you're involved in the community, like the community here is really great, and like sure, like you can accomplish a lot in school and you can get good grades, but I think the most important thing is when you make a positive impact on other people. So maybe like coaching the youth basketball camps or like something like that, just bringing a community together and like helping make a positive impact.
It's great.
For me, it was definitely qualifying for Worlds for robotics this year. It had been a goal of mine for like 8 years now, and in my last year, I was finally able to get it, and it was just really cool to see everything finally lead up to that moment where we qualified and was able to go and experience it. That was like one of the most incredible feelings I've had, just because I've been like trying for so long. So that's definitely the thing I'm most proud of.
Yeah, so what's next for both of you, college-wise and just career aspirations?
So I'm going to Wash U in St. Louis, and I'm playing basketball and majoring in applied math, and I'm not really sure what I want to do yet, but I was like in between engineering and finance. That's kind of why I went into applied math.
I'm also planning to head down to UW-Madison to do computer engineering.
That fits.
Yeah.
So both of you are okay at math, is what we're saying.
Yes. Any questions from anyone else?
We never ask them. So if you're looking back now over your career and time in Pewaukee, any recommendations for us as a board? Anything you'd like to see us change or that we should have changed?
Can't think of anything at the moment.
I'm guessing you probably would have liked that wing added on a little earlier in your career.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Better late than never.
No, I think Pewaukee's been like a great school, and I've had a great experience here. So
I think for the most part, it's been really fun.
Awesome.
Well, congratulations. You guys have set a heck of a standard for everybody else, so best of luck to both of you, and thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next we have citizen comments. Nope, sorry. I'm going to go back to salutes and recognitions. We cannot forget that, and honestly, I think we have a ton of them tonight. So I'm going to start us out. My first salute goes to, we had a ribbon cutting in our open house for the STEAM Hub. What a great evening. It was well attended. I want to say thank you to Tammy for all your organization, for Miranda, for her marketing, everything she's done to make that space just brilliant. I think of the admin that were there, teachers that were there, students who participated. Wow, I was blown away. These students were, they could hardly speak sometimes. They were so excited to talk about this equipment and rave about it. I mean, it was excellent. The culinary area, these kids, I mean, that food was divine. I want to get that lasagna recipe. And the way they spoke about their food and how they prepared it, I felt so proud. A special thank you to Ben Lamp and Nelson Brunell, and Brian Sniff and Mike Cady. Where do I stop? John, for all your work with this project. C.G. Schmidt, I'm going to forget people, Mike.
Ryan DeMars, Ellie Olson, Ignacio, I'm trying to think of, what's that? Nelson, she did say Nelson.
Adriana, for your part in
Adriana.
helping us. So I was just so proud.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a really awesome night. And for you gals for doing an amazing job with that big scissors cutting
Nailed
the ribbon.
the ribbon cut. You
Yeah,
handled
you
the big
nailed it.
scissors
It was
like you've done
great.
it 100 times.
they were a
Yeah.
little heavy.
Second salute goes to our strategic planning event where we had Monday and Wednesday nights. And, I want to thank again Tammy and Mike and administration that were here, teachers that were here, parents, students. I was blown away. The first night I walked in with a group of 7th grade young guys, and I said, don't be afraid to talk. Well, my goodness.
They weren't.
Ashley and I ended up in a room with a bunch of them, and we were absolutely blown away. Their comments were so mature, so professional, and they were just honest and frank, but it was great, you know. So I was blown away by that event as well. And congratulations to the robotics team. Am I correct in saying we're now going to?
They did. They went to the World
Worlds.
Championships in Houston.
And- How did
do you know
that-
what the result? They didn't win. I know that.
No.
Because we'd be throwing a ticker tape parade if that happened. But,
Yeah,
um,
but the fact that they made it
yeah.
there.
Yeah, competing with teams all over the world. And if you're familiar with FIRST is about, it's a competition, but what they thrive on is the collaboration across teams, and so it's both competitive, but if your opponent, if in their pit, their robot breaks down, you'll see all these teams kind of rallying and making sure they have the parts if they're missing something, just to help them. And that is some of the highest awards you can earn at FIRST competitions, is that kind of spirit. Yeah, it's great to be successful and to win things, but it's very unique. If you haven't been around FIRST before, it's something you should try to experience. And it's really, I can't think of a better example of authentic learning for students than really what FIRST Robotics provides, where you have the kids doing complex things with technology and engineering, mathematics, working alongside professional engineers that give so generously their time to our kids. So it's just it's a great situation.
So proud of that program.
And just to add to that, I know we usually typically have a presentation by the robotics team sometime later in the summer, but to see it and to also watch all of the companies that are involved in supporting it, but our local volunteers, whether it's somebody from the Caliber Collision or GE, I mean, these people put in a lot of time in terms of working with the kids to get them to that level where they could go to the world competition kind of thing. There's 600 participants in the world competition, so it's a big, big number of kids that are involved in that.
Thirdly, Stacy is not here, so on her behalf, I want to salute the Open Door Awards. It was a great evening. There was so much work done by so many people. She specifically mentioned Tammy, Miranda, Mike, Colin, Adriana, James, the student servers, Chartwells, Larry, and all of our donors. But lastly, we need to thank Stacy, because I know she was also involved in last year's and this year's Open Door Awards. So again, another great program. Mike, I'll let you build off of that. if you want.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anybody. You got Tammy and Miranda were so huge in it. Adriana, her work with the student presenters, I thought the student presenters were stars of the show. We have friends from C.G. Schmidt here tonight. They were one of our sponsors. Epstein Ewan was another one of our sponsors that helped make this possible. We had a special surprise with some of our former leaders coming back to recognize our retirees with making a surprise appearance with Joanne Sternke and John Mulch, Marty Van Hooley, and Danielle, which was really well received, so that was fun. But yeah, it's 2 years in. It's been a really fun event. It's a lot of work, but yeah, it's always really enjoyable. So.
Any other board members with salutes?
Just a couple things. So one, I did attend the Dual Enrollment Academy over at WCTC last Friday, and very pleased to say that we had 6 or 7 graduates from there. And I know, Tammy, if you're trying to catch them, there was something that published on it, but it was Axel Beck in building construction trades, welding and fabrication, Jaden Jahuski. There was also, Aaron Yeskis as an IT system specialist. School of Business IT system specialist Cecilia Scott was involved in it. We also had Samantha Kervin, who was in early childhood, Elena Dauphin in firefighter emergency medical technician. So there were in total about 6 or 7 students that were involved in that program. So, and it's a great thing. I mean, these kids are earning college or WCT level credits while they're there, and they will, for the most part, also then get their high school diploma on May 30th here. So they are really set to go in terms of jobs and careers and things like that. So it's a great program out there, and we need to promote it and support it, so.
Thank you for attending that graduation, Larry.
Thank you. Admin, any salutes?
I wanted to salute our partners who beat me to it in the project as we hit the home stretch on the referendum work from 2024, April 2024. Our partners at Epstein, UN, CG Schmidt, and those people who have been really involved, John Stangler, Olivia Gill, on the day-to-day execution of this plan. So great job and great teamwork throughout to bring it to fruition.
Anthony, anything? I do not have any tonight. Nothing for me tonight.
Okay. Tammy, any citizen comments? All right, thank you. Consent agenda. That includes the minutes from previous meetings that would have been April 27th, the regular meeting and policy committee meeting minutes. Correspondence included in your packet. And also we have one gift tonight. A generous gift of $2,000 was received from Karen Rashke for the Pewaukee High School robotics team. Thank you to Karen for that very generous gift. Always welcomed and so well used. So if I could get a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Next, Business Affairs Committee, John. Matt.
Yep. So tonight, we had Business Affairs Committee met, we reviewed check registers, financial report. John gave us a summer projects update and a monthly capital projects update. In terms of the financial report, just a couple notable revenues. So $21.5 million to date from tax revenues, still 7.1 still remaining, but not due until August. And $595,000 in interest, which is a majority from the construction funds. Biggest notable receipts in April, we had $598,000 in lottery aid and $228,000 in common school funds. In terms of total, so total revenue, we're at 59.6% received. Total expenses at 73.8% spent, which is very normal for this time of year. In terms of summer projects, there's a whole slew of summer projects that we've got going on. Flooring at Horizon, completion of the solar panels, updates to the message center sign, turf replacement, track structural spray, Horizon Makerspace, the large group instruction, ASA culinary uplift, Ox Gym bleachers, expansion of the district office parking lot, and various auditorium items being updated and replaced, along with the district office carpeting and reorganization. So a lot of things happening this summer. All are expected to be done by the end of this summer, with the exception of the Ox Gym bleachers, which will be the end of September. After that, preliminarily, we still anticipate having some remaining funds, and if so, that will be transferred over to the debt service fund to reduce the tax levy. In terms of the monthly capital project update, just a couple notable things. We're at 90.6% spent, which is about $25.8 million. And we have just over $777,000 of cumulative earnings from interest of a projected $800,000. John, I don't know if there's anything else.
That touched on all.
Excellent.
Two questions. The school, right after what you said about lottery, what was that called? Common School?
Common school.
Common School Fund. Could you tell me about that, and how often do we get that?
Common school funds are calculated each year, and they're awarded, every district in the state gets a prorated share of the common school fund. Library aid gets considered. It covers any items from library media, audiovisual equipment, some computer equipment, all things that are generally housed in the library and checked out into the building. The funds have increased every year for the last 5 to 7 years. It's been record funding levels. It's based on a per pupil basis and distributed throughout the state. Based largely in part on earnings from the state trust fund from the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands.
That was the piece I was missing.
Yeah.
Okay, and that comes how often?
Once a
Once
year.
a year? Okay.
We get it certified in January and it is paid in April.
Okay. Last question. What is the current debt for the district?
Let me get you that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe we're total principal outstanding of, let me look.
Okay, I think he gave some interest numbers, so I thought I missed it. Thank you.
I do, I'm curious, so, the administrative building parking lot, can we get an update on that? Like, where is it gonna be, and how many new spaces are we gonna yield out of that?
It'll be part of the,
You saw a picture.
yeah,
Yeah, the,
presentation. It'll be in the presentation.
Oh, it will, okay.
that one.
It's not part of that? I
No,
thought
the
you-
summer projects presentation is at the business affairs.
But I thought I saw a slide in the, didn't you show me a slide in the?
That was the summer projects.
That was the wrong one. Look at the wrong
Yeah,
one.
so the-
Okay, so
But so
how
we
many
can-
spots do we
area-
get?
Go ahead, John.
If you take the existing parking lot where we have it, the area to the south of that is currently within our CSM, it's within the institutional area that the district has. We will expand the lot to the south. We'll include some small retaining wall area to reduce some of the elevation change. And we'll add a net of 9 additional parking spaces out there, which will allow us to free up spaces on the north side of PLE where the student drop-off is, to have a drop-off zone only, so that we're not having as much traffic on that north side of the building when students are coming through that Champions entrance for the daycare, for the wraparound program.
So that was approved at the planning commission on Thursday.
That's awesome. Great.
Okay, you said south. To the north?
No, to the south.
Towards the Welcome to
Towards the
Pewaukee School
campus.
District sign, going that way.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of space there though, right?
Yeah, we attempted a couple of times to get, because the land to the north towards the neighborhood is zoned differently, zoned residential. We've presented a couple of times about changing that zoning, but that was denied. So we went in the other direction.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move to accept the business affairs report as presented.
Second?
All in favor? Any opposed?
Oppose.
All right, next is old business, and both of these items were talked about and considered at the April 27th meeting. The first one is consideration and possible approval of the 26-27 budget and staffing plan.
So in your packet, it provided information. The course of action for the district typically on this will be present the budget by board policy. That has to be presented by April 30th, the proposed budget for the upcoming year. That was done at our last board meeting in April. And then any questions that board members have or additional insights that they would like into that information, we will provide at this meeting, and then the board will take action to adopt the preliminary budget. Again, this gives us the spending authority to get the year going. The original budget for the district is adopted in October after 3 main pieces of information are determined. First is the third Friday in September pupil count. That's used to determine our revenue limit for the year. The second bit of information is the property values within the district, which is certified around the 1st of October. That works with the apportionment of the levy across the community. And the third piece of information is the certification of equalization aid. That comes out by October 15th. Once that's done, then we adopt the original budget for the year. It sounds odd. You adopt the original budget at the end of October at the same time when you set the tax levy for the year. The preliminary budget is what we utilize to inform at the annual meeting. This year was a little unique as of last Friday or last week, Wednesday, with the action that the state was doing on this surplus expenditure bill. With a greater than $2.5 billion surplus expected in the state this biennium, there was agreement to the terms of how to utilize that to provide some additional support for districts, to provide additional tax relief for every community in the state, and to have some return of an income tax package. That measure failed late on Wednesday night. So initially, when we had sent the memo to the board, we had suggested we may wait until June 8th to give us the opportunity to integrate those changes had they happened. They didn't happen. So what stands right now is current law, and that's what the preliminary budget you received in April is based on. So my recommendation would be to move forward and have the discussion and action on the adoption of the preliminary operating budget as presented.
Any questions?
John, would seem appropriate to have that debt number handy, as well as the amount of interest we're paying service-wise annually on that debt in the budget discussion. Are you able to pull
Yeah,
that
that
up?
was all included in the documents that you
Yeah, are
received.
you able to
for
pull
the-
it up?
The current, as of 7/1/2026, outstanding principal debt is $46,290,000 for the district. I don't have the interest added up there. Roughly $9 million in interest cost also,
Per year?
total for over the next 12 years.
So Matt referenced, I think, Matt, you were talking about income interest?
Interest earnings, revenue.
Right. How much of that interest goes against the annual payment interest that we're making?
Again,
What is the
that would have been a
tie-up?
great question to have in advance. I'd have to generate some
John, I
reporting
have
on
much
that.
too much faith in you. I mean, you know this stuff cold.
I can look that up. That interest earnings on debt service, we hold the debt service for a short amount of time. So the debt service funds you get come in as part of your January levy, and you're paying out typically in March, your principal payments, with some principal payments in September. So the total amount that's levied is really with the district for a shorter period of time. The interest earnings that was referenced here was linked to the interest earnings primarily on the construction funds that had been invested up until the point in time when we needed them to pay for the bills.
Right, so I guess what I'm asking you is the bird's eye, just those three numbers, which you gave me the
Yep.
46 million. And then there is an annual service interest on that, and then there's the the interest that we are taking in. What is the gap between those two? Do you have a recollection as to what it's been in the past?
Not off the top of my head. It varies year to year because you're gonna have different debt schedules. You'll have funds invested for longer periods of time.
Right, but by percentage, are we doing 50%? Are we doing 10%, 90%?
Interest rates they peaked out at about 5.25%. They're running about 3.6% right now on what's invested from that.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. The amount that we're taking in versus the amount we're paying out in interest, how close are they? Are they half, 90%, nothing? Is 10%? Any sense of that?
The interest on the debt that we have outstanding that we're paying.
Correct. Versus what we're taking in interest.
About $17 million of the outstanding principal has a interest rate of between 3 and 4%. The most recent debt issue of $19.5 million carries an interest rate of between 4 and 5% on the different terms of length. The earnings that we're getting is about 3.6. So the earnings that we're having probably cover, it's a shorter period of time. It's not a full year. So it's a very small percentage, maybe 15 to 20% tops.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions on the operating budget as presented?
If not, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the 26-27 budget and staffing plan report.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oppose.
Secondly, it's consideration and possible approval of the Pewaukee High School Technology and Engineering Curriculum additions, again, that were discussed at that previous April meeting. Anthony?
Yeah, so on the 27th of April, I was here with Ben Lamp and Nelson Brownell, and we presented the Pewaukee High School modifications to our tech ed curriculum. So we kind of previewed each of the areas, and really the highlight there was that we were going to be offering 10 new classes at the high school in our tech ed department, obviously taking advantage of the new space and some of the new technologies available. The curriculum plans were posted on the website, made available to all of you. I did not receive any questions from anyone, board members or public, so would be looking for a motion to approve that.
Move to approve the PHS Technology and Engineering Curriculum additions
Questions?
as presented.
Oh, Mary has a question.
Anthony, is there any? I better yell. Any AI, are we still AI free for students?
Currently, we do not have any students using AI.
Perfect.
From, school supported.
We haven't opened any AI tools in school.
For students, right. We've been, as I understand it, up till this point, we've been AI free for students. And we are still, this is not going to alter that.
Nothing in the curriculum alters that.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain?
Next, going on to new business. So tonight we have our capital project final presentation. We're going to be informed as to the completion of all projects related to that 2024 referendum. Wow, it's kind of crazy that we're here.
That was cold that day with the,
It was,
yes.
yeah.
the shovel.
Yeah.
The shovel day was cold.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. Throughout this entire project, we've come about quarterly to give you updates to the Board of Education of the progress and the status, all the way from really early on into the design phases. Throughout all of those times, we've had Mike Dietrich and Tyler joined us in the middle of the project, Tyler Helker from C.G. Schmidt. I'd like to give them a minute.
Good evening. Like John said, my name is Mike Dietrich. I'm a project executive with C.G. Schmidt, and I'm here with Tyler Helker. He's our project manager for the project. Tonight, we just wanted to celebrate the completion of the STEAM and the fitness addition and remodel project and share some of those pictures of the transformation. Before we do that, just wanted to thank the school administration, specifically John Gahan and John Stengler. They were integrally involved throughout the project and exceptional guidance, support, and communication creating this exceptional facility. I also want to thank the school board for putting their trust in C.G. Schmidt once again, and to all the teachers and staff at the high school that were impacted during the construction. And a special thank you to Brian Sniff. I know he stepped away, but his patience, flexibility, and coordination was instrumental during key aspects of the project. So thank you all.
So we want to take you back for a little walk through the project and what we started, how we started. This was a visualization that we gave to the board right from the start. This concept would turn into what you see in the completion of the project that Tyler will walk you through. You can see the partnership here between C.G. Schmidt and Epstein Ewan. I want to call it McLean Schramm and Cady LaCourte in particular, who led this project for Epstein Ewan to provide that vision to then allow the district to fill some of those pieces and modify that vision at some points in time to get to a project that we knew was going to be reflective of the pride that the community has in the facilities up here, and that the board can have the pride in the completion of the project. So, goals of the project were simple. We wanted visibility, we wanted flexibility, we wanted this hub. We wanted that innovation center to be the creative energy that could fuel all of the spaces around it. The art spaces, the fashion, the construction, the manufacturing. And if you look at the facility, this early representation of what we were looking for is pretty clear for what is there.
All right, go ahead and get into it. So I'd like to thank Epstein Ewan for putting this presentation together. We'll start off with, there's some renderings kind of before the finished pictures as we go through here. So for anybody that remembers, the innovation hallway kind of was the industrial park of the school as I remember it. So we were able to really open it up. And from the rendering to finish, we were almost smack on it. We opened up that stairwell, put a glass railing in there, and really opened up the sight lines and added a lot more lighting. And this allowed for the fashion to also have a nice storefront. Talking about the visibility of the classrooms, you can really see that as you start to walk down and into the project Lead the Way, the construction and manufacturing. There's glass everywhere. You know, I remember as a freshman, you're walking into a brand new school, you have no clue what's going on behind a lot of these doors that have just the small side lights. So adding in a lot of this glass is gonna, you know, spark that curiosity, and it's definitely seen throughout this entire project. Getting into the Innovation Hub, very unique space where we had all curtain wall or storefront on the west side of that addition, which brings in nothing but natural light, and to me, it was always really nice to be working within that area. Kind of a unique portion of this area. Those gears were donated by one of the business partners of the school district. So we kind of tagged along with that as well. And Next Electric donated all of the electrical hookups, the lighting, and then we donated the blocking and the install of those. So a really cool, unique feature when you're driving down that side road, especially at night, it just pops, especially those nice red lights. Into the 3D art area, again, natural light being the common theme, great sight lines. The sealed concrete was stained kind of walkways, just really went with the whole space. And then adding all of the stations for the 3D art allows all those students to really be involved, or I should say more students to be involved and learn within the same classroom. Getting back into the Innovation Hub, one thing that I just haven't seen yet is the free flow through all of these classrooms. So all of these classrooms have overhead doors that allow for a lot of collaboration between Project Lead the Way to construction to manufacturing. In essence, all of these classrooms do tie together, so being able to take them and put them all in one centralized area is very unique and one of a kind, I'll say. Being a construction company, this is probably the part that we were the most excited to be collaborative with. This area of construction is going to breed the next generation of who's going to come into our generation, or excuse me, our field. So being able to have a hand in that is great. You know, there's very large ceilings, so they can build large projects, and they can also take them out the very large overhead door as well. So having that possibility, once again, is one of a kind. Then getting into the fitness. I think the running joke while we were building the fitness area is if we had something this nice in high school, maybe a couple more of us would have worked out as well. But having everything branded it's made this whole area pop. The huge windows on the side, bringing in natural lights, having the Pirates logo, having all of the weights branded is really unique, and just a really great space for anybody that's looking to stay fit. And then kind of our last area here is the studio portion of the fitness. This was built with large ceilings to allow for cheerleading to be able to throw in the air, as well as give robotics kind of the space that they need to be able to have a full practice and not have to look elsewhere to go. So that's kind of the final thing that we have to say. Just to kind of echo what Mike said, I started with C.G. Schmidt 6.5 years ago. That was 2020, so we were midway through the 2018 referendum that was here. So being able to have a hand with this referendum as well, Pewaukee's always going to have a special place in my heart. It was my first job out of college, so just want to say really appreciate everybody. John has been absolutely integral to this project that we couldn't have done it without any of them. So thank you all very much.
So when we started this project, we had a simple goal. The goal in the project was to get something that we'd be proud of at the end, and do it on time and under budget. So at this point right now, this scope of work that we're talking about with C.G. Schmidt represents about 75% of the total amount of work that'll be done for the April referendum. As you recall, we had several other projects, roofing, flooring, solar, that are either completed or in the process of being completed right now. And we are anticipating through savings from this scope of work and from each of the other scopes of work. We have brought several projects to the Board of Education of items that had been identified on the long-range capital projects plan to be completed. All these projects, we are anticipating completion by September, early, or this fall, in the district, being able to close the complete project out with proceeds remaining to be able to apply to the debt service fund, so that it reduces future tax levies for our debt service fund. So, any questions about this project?
No questions, but I again just want to say thank you. This space is so quality built, it is so beautiful. I feel like we are the pride of Lake Country, right here, this building. Thank you for your personal commitment to this whole project from start to finish. It showed. And on top of administration and the board, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our community, right? For you being willing to approve that referendum so we could build this beautiful space. I just, the sky's the limit for the future for our students. They get to take advantage of this space. Look at robotics already. So I can't say thank you enough, but I'm so proud of this space and thank you for your commitment to it.
Yeah, I just have two quick comments. One, I want to acknowledge the complexity of parts of this. You can see some of the facial expressions. Going from that southwest side of the building, from ceiling heights to just existing structure to the amount of limited space that we had to be able to translate that into the end product far exceeded what I was originally thinking we were going to be able to accomplish. I know there was some real head scratchers that had to get figured out through this process. People see the end product and it's like, this thing's great, you go out and you pass a referendum and you just build great places, but it's not easy, it's hard, and then you're trying to run a school. At the same time, we have, we taught metals for, 3/4 of a year without a metals shop, right? So we had to figure it, so the teachers figuring those things out, but keeping kids safe, right, in the process, keeping staff safe in the process as you're trying to build all these spaces. I don't think people realize how much goes into those aspects. So it's, the end product is what we all see. That was a huge success, but the process was a success because of how well it was managed, and I want to acknowledge that. And I'll share one other story. As many of you probably know, I work with an executive coach. He's been around for a long time. I was very, very proud to give him a tour. He's a former superintendent. And when I met with him the month after I took him through, he just said, I just keep thinking about those spaces. And he said, the design of it, the thoughtful flow of it, and he's also an author, writes on education and learning quite a bit. He just says, I don't think there's anything to compare to it that he's seen in terms of how he views it impacting learning for students. So I thought that was a great compliment. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, next, education for employment. Consideration and possible approval. I'm going to have Adriana come forward.
Hello, everybody. The report was submitted to you for preview. This report is something that we complete annually, and it is reviewed by a advisory board prior to coming to you for potential approval. This is something that is dictated by state statute. So today I come before you to answer any questions that you have, and then to ask for you to consider approving it for the 26-27 school year.
Any questions? It was a great report.
Thank you.
Were there any questions via email?
There were not.
Thank you.
I'm just going to ask Larry, because you always have questions. But
not right now.
I don't want to cut you off. Okay, well, if there are no questions, I'm going to ask for a motion.
Move to approve the 2026-27 Education for Employment E4E plan as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Oppose.
Next, we need to
Thanks,
consider.
Adriana.
Thank you so much. We need to consider the acceptance of incoming open enrollment students for the 26-27 school year. You have the report there in front of you that shows the amount of students that we're proposing. Mike?
Yeah, and I asked John to jump in with any additional, but as you know, the board approves open enrollment seats in January each year, and then we have a process that's outlined in our policy for assigning those after we accept applications. There's a window of that. I want to acknowledge Tammy's work with that. She really manages the application process. And then John, Tammy, and I last week facilitated the selection process. You can see we had grade levels where we had more applicants, which is typical. Then we had seats available. So in those cases, you see wait lists. I believe there was one grade, I'm remembering, I think, 4th grade, where we still had one seat open because we did not have more applicants than seats. John, anything to add to that?
Yeah, there's two classifications of students that have preference when it comes to the board policy. Number one of those students who are tuition waivers. They're students who were residents in the district at the time when the determination of seats available was made. They are allowed to continue in the district through open enrollment, so they don't have to have a seat available for them in order to continue through open enrollment. And the second is a preference for siblings of students, and the siblings have to be entering into a grade where there is seat available for them to take a seat. They get the first shot at any available seat that is at a grade level. 35 overall, 157 applications is on the low end of what we received the last 5 to 6 years. We're generally in the 170 to 200 range, but still more than enough applications to fill the seats that we had, the 35 seats that we had made available in the district.
Any questions from anyone? Okay, otherwise, I will make a motion to accept 55 open enrollment students, 34 seats plus 21 tuition waiver students. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Next, I need another motion. Do you guys want me to read all this? I can read it. Sure, I'll go ahead. Make a motion to create a wait list for 13 students at 4K, wait list of 22 students at 5K, and deny 1 student due to the program they applied for being closed, special education. Wait list of 9 students at grade 2 and deny 1 student due to the program they applied for being closed, special ed. There is 1 open enrollment seat available at grade 4, and we denied 2 students due to the program they applied for being closed, special education. Wait list of 4 students at grade 5 and deny 1 student due to the program they applied for being closed, special education. And wait list of 5 students at grade 9. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
All right, next we have discussion and potential action regarding the policy and process to implement for sale of district real property. John?
So in the long-range capital project plan for several years now, we've talked about the Lake Country Trail, a connecting trail that will take the Lake Country Trail on Highway G down by Gulf Road and connect it to the village of Pewaukee. Our Pirate Pass is the terminating point between the village and the city of Pewaukee. So to make that connection, the trail would have to cross our property, and we've been presented with a proposal and an appraisal that would establish a value for that property. This discussion in open session is because the board now has the authority, without having to go to an annual meeting or a special meeting, to sell that property, real property within the district. So we'll go into closed session after this period, after this meeting, to discuss the parameters of the sale, the negotiation of the sale, and then potentially come back into open session to revisit the item. The purpose of the agenda item here now is to inform you of the process. It is managed under policy 3100.06, board policy 3100.06, and really states the board has the Board of Education retains sole and exclusive authority to approve the sale or other disposition of any land, buildings, or other improvements that are owned by the district and no longer needed by the district. It goes on after that, but that grants the authority for the board to move forward. Any questions about process?
Or is it mostly just
go ahead.
the process? The process, or, I mean, for the public purposes, I mean, it's a stretch of land right at the
Yeah,
road prospect.
Yeah, the piece of land is, there's an easement that is along the roadway there, that is the roadway right away, and there's also a partial easement on there. This would give a 20-foot roughly easement along Prospect Avenue from the district property line on the south to the north, till Pirate Pass.
The entity that, there's a single entity seeking to purchase?
Correct.
And it is the same, go ahead.
The city of Pewaukee is the Joint Park and Rec, not Joint Park and Rec. The city of Pewaukee is sponsoring the development of this trail and the construction of the trail through grant funding that they've been authorized to receive. And part of the process of the construction is the acquisition of the property where it would cross private property all the way from there up till where we are.
So the school district would be selling property to the city of Pewaukee?
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the trail, will it come up Pirate Pass? Is that?
We've had it on our long-range capital projects plan as a safe routes to school connection. What that's gonna look like, we would have to determine in the future and when the funding becomes available to do something with that. This provides access to Pirate Pass as a pathway then to use or to continue on Prospect into downtown.
And we will be going into closed session later.
Correct.
To discuss numbers and particulars. Are there any further questions at this point? Okay,
What are
then.
the, go ahead.
Mary, do you have a question?
What are the particulars that are not privy to the public?
The negotiation and the sale price that would be determined. That is, we come out of closed session, and that's when that portion of it would become public.
The city of Pewaukee is a public entity, is it not its
It's a third party that has been.
purchasing power public
A
record?
third party has been hired. That was in your information for this meeting, was the third party has been hired by the city to handle the property acquisition process along the length of the proposed trail.
So why is that private? Why are we going, what part of that is?
Negotiation.
It's government to government, so that's my question.
Yeah, negotiation of the sale of property has always been a closed session. Negotiation is under 125E, has always been a topic of closed session where the negotiation on determining what that price is going to be is private up until it's determined.
Right, but we're not talking a private entity purchasing, we're talking taxpayer dollars in both cases. So taxpayer receive on us?
Still fits under the same closed session criteria.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving along, final 25-26 budget amendment, possible approval. John?
All right, another item of business that we take care of in May each year is a reconciliation of the current year budget for 25-26. And typically, Mary had mentioned earlier, the common school funds. This is a reconciliation primarily driven by the common school funds. We try to be conservative on our estimate early in the year as to what we're going to receive from there. But the requirement is whatever we received, we must spend during that fiscal year. So in total, we have about a $91,000 adjustment to the general fund total operating budget for this year. About $73,000 of that is driven by the additional revenue we received from common school fund above what we had conservatively estimated going into the budgeting process. A couple other small items that are included in there are some grants that we were awarded after the original budget was adopted, which we have to recognize both the revenue and the expense side of those grants. And then finally, redistribution of some of the funds within. So when the board adopts a budget, the function element, the 6-digit part of our accounting code, they adopt it at the 2-digit function level. Anytime that funds are moved outside or we change the mix outside of that 2-digit function, it takes an amendment of the original budget for the board to process that. So in your packet, you have a memo that describes each one of the changes to reflect the increases for the grants and for the common school fund primarily. And then some of that redistribution to show what the final 2-digit function balances look like. And this will be it'll be the amended operating budget for 25-26. This will carry through to the end of our fiscal year.
Ready? I move to approve the budget amendment dated May 18th, 2026 for the fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Question? Were there any email questions on this particular item?
Not on this item.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oppose.
All right, next, policy. We have some policies that are up for first read, and I'll let Ashley work through those.
So we had first read of 7100.10, initiation of litigation, 7400.01, conflict of interest, 3000.01, preparation and publication of the school district budget, 3000.02, publication review of the school budget.
Excuse me, Ash, I'm not sure everybody's gonna be able to hear that. 'Cause it's coming in very soft over here.
Okay.
Thank you.
3000.03, purpose of budget, 3100.01, income, local property tax levy, 6500.02, homework, 5300.12, student code of conduct, 4000.08, superintendent evaluation, and 4000.09, administrator evaluation. And I did not receive any questions.
So these will come up at the next meeting then
For
for
approval.
approval, final approval, okay. Again, in the meantime, if you do come up with additional questions, please get with Ashley so she can clarify anything. Thank you.
Ash, do you remember how many of those have no changes?
I do not.
Thank you. Do you know if it's more than one? Travis says yes.
I don't remember offhand. I think that there was some changes on several
Most
of
of
them.
them had some changes. Most of them
Yeah.
had changes, it's all.
Thank you.
Shown in the packet. A few, like administrator evaluation, did not have changes. Most did.
Okay, next up, we have personnel issues, and we are gonna start with resignations. We have 2 resignations.
Yep, we have 2 teacher resignations, Alicia Swenson, grade 5 teacher, and Sarah Kennedy, special education teacher at Horizon. I'd seek your approval of those resignations.
Move to accept the resignation of Alicia Swanson, 5th grade teacher, and Sarah Kennedy, special education teacher.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Next, we have employments.
We do, and I'm gonna start right with our new recommendation for our new Asa Clark principal, who is here this evening. Jane Matter is here, who came through the grueling process that we ran her through, and many of you were involved, so thank you to all the board members who made time to be a part of that process. But Jane, as you know, is currently the associate principal at Pewaukee High School. In your packet, you have information about the different aspects of that process, so we're excited to have Jane. Went over to have a meeting with Cady Spadoni today, and Jane was, sleeves are rolled up, working, well, she doesn't have any sleeves today, but, figuratively, right, they were hard at work already on the transition. That certainly is a help in the transition, as Cady is going to move to the district office, as you know. And I want to recognize Paul Bursai. He's been fantastic too, and immediately working with Jane to ensure that we have a really smooth transition. Brian Sniff's already working through applications to find Jane's replacement at the high school, but Be happy to take any questions if you have them. Otherwise, I would seek your approval for Jane Matter as our next principal at Asa Clerk.
Do it all as a package, or do you want each one of them separately?
Let's act on Jane separately, and then we can do the others together.
I move to approve the hire of Jane Matter as principal at Asa Clark Middle School. Congratulations to you, Jane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Congratulations, Jane.
Congratulations.
Yay!
All right, now get to work. No, I'm just kidding. All right, in addition to Jane's hire tonight, we have some teachers. We have Mackenzie Harsh, who would be a limited term special education teacher. You may recall Katie Kropinski has a 1-year leave of absence that you recently approved. Contessa Finari, grade 5 teacher. And Kelsey, who's replacing Alicia Swenson, whose resignation you just approved. And Kelsey Cobbler, speech pathologist, replacing Haley Zwifka. I would seek your approval of those teacher hires.
Okay, so I move to approve the hire of Mackenzie Harsh as a limited-term special education teacher in grade 2 at PLE, to approve the hire of Contessa Funaro as a grade 5 teacher at Horizon, to approve the hire of Kelsey Kobler as a speech pathologist at Horizon, and I think that's it. Right? So,
That's it.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's see. Next, we'll review upcoming activities. Let's see. The next thing coming up is Saturday, May 30th, is our high school graduation in the high school gym at 1 o'clock. Matt and Larry are helping me with that, and Ashley, yes. So thank you guys very, very much. That's a big job, all those diplomas, and I appreciate your help with that.
Thanks for the signing. They've been handed off to Brian,
Yes,
so we
oh,
will
very good.
Matt
Thank
and
you.
Bren for getting your signing all done. Thank you.
Then Wednesday, June 3rd, is the Asa Clerk Middle School promotion at 6 p.m. on the high school football field. And that is Ashley, Larry, and myself that are attending. That's right.
I won't be there
See,
for that one.
I'm getting that mixed
I know.
up. Sorry, Ashley.
You and Larry.
So it'll be Larry and myself. All right, thank you. Friday, June 5th, is the end of year celebration and luncheon. It starts with lunch at 11:15 in the high school cafeteria, and a program to follow at 12:45. I'm going to give a shameless plug because this is an awesome program to attend. And along with some really great people that we just have some great people that are retiring. Let me just name them. Rachel Yerk, 8 years. Robin Wilson, 12 years. Linda Reinowski, 18 years. Our own John Gahan, 20 years. Jeannie Bork, 25 years. Mike Murphy, 26 years. And Mike Basile, 31 years. This is a lot of years of experience that have been here. And if you could all make it, please do. I really do love this program. Mike does an awesome job. And yeah, if you can't come for lunch, no biggie. Just come to the auditorium and celebrate these great people that have given so much to our district. Monday, June 8th, we have business affairs and a regular board meeting. Monday, June 22nd is policy and a regular board meeting. And then Monday, July 13th is our one board meeting for July, business affairs and a regular board meeting. So that is it for our upcoming activities. Board of Education Evaluation Survey. So this survey that we take once a year is part of our board self-reflection, right? We go through a list of questions and we rate how we think we as a board are doing in these various areas. So tonight we have Candace Bentley with us, who is going to go through the data and give us some general impressions of what that data tells us.
Yeah, let me just quick set the table for Candace, and then she'll take over. I want to recognize her and thank her for her work as our Director of Data and Assessment. She does a great job with that. The slide presentation is limited. That's been at direction of the board. The feedback we've received is give it to us in the materials, right? In terms of the detailed data, and then keep the presentation on the leaner side, and then open it up for discussion. So that's what we have for you tonight. Candace has prepared all the materials that were in your packet. She'll go through the presentation. This is your self-evaluation, and so we're just here to support in any way that we can. Candace, I'll kick it over to you.
I'm here to talk about the Board of Education handout in conjunction with WODC, and it crosses several different performance areas. Vision and planning this year coming out as really areas of key success for the Board of Education here, and then board operations and culture as two areas for opportunities of improvement. On this slide, you can see they're ranked from highest to lowest, but we're going to go into three key pieces of information just briefly about those. So as far as variation in responses, and these are significant differences between board members and how they're responding to the questions and areas across the survey. There's really similar perceptions across all areas. There were not any key areas in which the responses varied. Then when we look at longitudinal changes in short term from 2025 to 2026, we're really seeing similar perceptions across most questions as well. No, not really any significant changes from one year to the next. However, when we look at longitudinal changes from 2022 to 2026, there are some significant changes occurring within that time frame. And this really focuses in on 2025 being particularly low relative to other years. And so it's not really coming in at this year's survey. It's 2025 standing out as a bit of a low year, 2026 coming up a little bit to match the prior years. The overall categories that this occurs in is board operations, budgeting, data-driven decision-making, and district operations. And then of the questions in which this occurs in, the largest number are in board operations. And so that is kind of the brief summary of the survey and the data. I'd be happy to take any questions that you might
have. Candace, you said that when I was looking through the other report that you sent us with all the bar graphs, one of the areas that kind of has seen a large decline is culture. Can you just sort of speak to the questions that exist within that section there that speaks to culture?
Yeah, culture would be maybe one of the, and slightly lower in the past, particularly 2025. I'm going to jump to some of those questions there. I don't believe it's getting as far as some of the other ones. That's why I just want to check in and make sure I've got the right questions in mind. Yeah. So the one we see in culture coming across might be related to some of the questions you linked to potentially board operations. Some of the lower questions we're seeing in culture are board models behavior, which has gone down for 5 consecutive years, down to 2.6, which is one of the lowest scores overall for any of the questions that can be received. Usually most of our questions are in the 3.2, 3.3-ish to the 4.0 rating. And so that's what we would really be seeing as far as some of those questions. That one would be really dragging it down. Most of the questions in culture did come up for 2026. So like valuing different opinions popped up from 3.1 in 2025 to 3.4. Now that in a singular year was not significant. Part of that being the low number of responses. but a lot of the questions within the culture category itself are going to be what would be typical, so really coming.
Questions from other board members on the results that you saw from the survey?
The only thing, I mean, obviously, it's something that's been around for quite a while, and I think it's really important, one, obviously, that we have participation in terms of this activity, but also if we think about what our public responsibilities are in terms of how we are elected officials, that just like everything else that we do in the school district, we have processes in terms of the Plan, Do, Check, Act kinds of things that are out there. So to me, this is kind of like the equivalent of the Plan, Do, Check, Act. I mean, it's a way of looking at how we function as a board, what we do in terms of how we support the students and how we support the staff that are here in the district, but also more importantly, how are we serving the taxpayers, the people who pay for this school district to function and operate. Most of our revenues come from local property taxes, which John is there, and I think that's one of the things we've always sometimes lose sight of, that we are being paid and funded by local property taxes out there. And so this evaluation tool should be taken seriously, and I guess this is my little on the stump in terms of saying it. It's like, it's an important thing. It's an important thing for us to do because it helps us assess our own work, but also hopefully helps reassure the community and again, the taxpayers, that we are taking our jobs seriously as board members. So that's the way I look at it, but.
We saw a little lower participation rate this year, but I just want to encourage us that when the survey comes up again this year, please, make sure you take the survey. It really doesn't take that long, and Tammy's pretty good about reminding us. So I know it's easy to forget it. I kind of think myself, I took it kind of towards the end of the time frame, but it is so important. We want to hear your opinions on how you feel the board is doing, and I also commented to Larry and Mike today that this tool, I think, is really important as we come into our goals committee.
Yes.
Because this feedback helps us to know, okay, where are we doing well, but where do we need to improve as a board? And I think that really is so important when we sit down to develop our goals for the next year, that we're concentrating on those areas where maybe we realize we need to make some improvement. So know that these results don't get put on a shelf. I'll bring them back up when we get to goals committee, and we'll talk about them further.
We'll get that on the schedule sometime soon, right?
Yes, we will. So, are there any other questions before we close this out for tonight?
I just point out that as you look at, I just draw your attention in case you didn't catch it all. With those results, I'm thinking of your question, Bren, on culture. It's those last 3 pages show you specifically what those items and those questions are. That can really help when you look at the results to look at the question and kind of, so you have a topic like planning or culture or district operations, and then you can go on to the specific question and see what that one was. So that might help you get a better sense of where people are at.
Right.
Yeah, there's also on pages 6 and 7. 5 and 6, actually. There's some comments that, again, Candace has put together that somewhat summarize it too. It's their kind of her executive summary, and it breaks it down by the different categories. So you're right, Mike. The board culture is one of those, and data-driven decision-making. So, I mean, take a look at pages 5 and 6 of the report.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Candace, for your work on this. As always, appreciate it, and hope you're doing well.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Candace.
Next up is Board of Education Committee selections per Board Policy 7100-02. I appoint members. I have to say that no one came back with any comments. I feel like our current committees are working well. So unless anyone speaks up and says, no, I don't want to be on the current committee I'm on, I would just leave them as they stand. Unless anyone has any objections? Okay, we'll leave committees as stand. Legislative update. I do have a question. So that whole budgetary thing that got voted down, is that just dead? Or can Evers or either side of the aisle resurrect that and try to go at this from a different angle and at least get part of this approved? Or is it just dead in the water?
So there is some chatter about there's still an opportunity for them to do something with this surplus. I don't have a whole lot of confidence or faith that that's gonna happen. I think, it was a very close situation, and basically, I think it failed by 3 votes. In the Senate, it passed handily. In the Assembly, the governor, of course, had negotiated the deal. He was gonna sign it, so, unless they were to decide to reconvene and reconsider that, or there's some, I know there were efforts to come to some kind of compromise around a few of the details related to that. So it, in terms of our operations over the 2 years of the biennium, it's a $800,000 swing, I think is a fair statement to the negative by that not going through. And so your budget reflects that, and there's some efforts that we're making to deal with some of the shortages as a result. So the big thing for us, the 2 things for the community that would have been a benefit in that particular bill would have been property tax relief for the community, and revenues for us would have been at that increased special ed funding, which would have been a pretty significant help for us. But like we said, it failed by those 3 votes in the Senate. Could they? Yes. Do we expect them to? I don't expect that they're going to.
Any other updates?
I don't really have anything else. That was the big piece that was getting pushed. I don't know. John, you don't have anything, or Larry from SWSA. I think this was pretty much what we were talking about, was this, was the surplus discussion. So I think I would anticipate everything pretty much just move into a focus on, you're gonna have a primary for governor for the Democrats. I believe there's only one candidate for the Republicans for governor, and then everything will be about November.
Okay. Strategic planning, great session.
Yeah, I'll just
Excited to hear.
I'll do a quick, I haven't pulled all the notes together and generated a summary. I'm gonna run that through AI to, all the comments that we took on those roundtables, and provide you a summary, and we'll certainly be looking at it as an administrative team. As you know, the presentation, we're talking about Leadership Week, we'll take that feedback, but I'll provide that summary to you as a board, so you kind of have that synthesized. Thank you for all of you who are able to participate. I like the format. You always wish you'd get a few more people to come out, and always open to suggestions if you have them on how we recruit, but we're pretty diligent in trying to recruit parents. I was very pleased with the student participation this year. You talked about that. Students were very helpful in those conversations. The general discussion followed by the special topics, that seems to be a format that's effective. Less presentation, more conversation, and keeping it to like a tight 90 minutes seems to work for people. And gets us, I think, what we need in those situations. So those topics of artificial intelligence, and the other being about our declining enrollment and budgetary challenges, I thought were appropriate topics, but certainly open to any feedback that board members have to improve that process.
I thought they were well run and well functioning, and even though John missed one meeting, Anthony stepped in and did a great job as a pseudo finance person and handled it well. So.
My comment was, I think it's important that we educate people on the budget side, because I don't think they understand the enrollment, how complex school funding is.
Right.
Some think there's all this surplus and there's not, so I think that something we should bring back in the coming years. We're gonna see the declining enrollment.
Yeah, I think it's a really important point, Travis, and we've started to to push it out there a little bit more. I think last year, summer of '25, we had an article in the Perspective where we started to talk about it. We shared that it's been about a $2 million reduction, structural reduction in our budget in the last 3 years because of shortages. That's something that we've just really worked to figure it out. We haven't been super vocal about it, but I do think it's important, and we do see this as a trend. And it's, again, globally, nationally, statewide, birth rates are down, enrollments are declining in general, not everywhere, but we are seeing that slow decline here. Maybe it'll flatten out, maybe it'll change, but to your point, Travis, it is complicated. People are often surprised that we run into those kinds of challenges here, because that's not the perception. But it's important our community's aware that we have those challenges.
All right. Tammy, any citizen comments? Okay. Well, then at this time, I will take a motion for us to go into closed session. Larry, you want to tackle that?
Yeah, sure. Motion, okay, I move, let's see where it starts here. Move to go into closed session in accordance with Wisconsin statutes 19.185, paren 1, paren C, to a discussion regarding negotiation parameters for the sale of the specific district-owned real property identified herein, afford the board the ability to be apprised of the status of any negotiations, and allow the board to establish any potential counter proposals to any interested buyers specifically related to the parcel 26 adjacent to Prospect Avenue, and I guess, yeah, motion to roll call vote to go after that. So, yeah, we just need to go into closed session, but we need a roll call vote to do
Yeah,
that.
but I need a second.
Second.
There's one,
Clarify that's 1985 paren 1E as in Edward.
Oh, sorry.
It's hard, it's small. Yeah,
It is.
but
Yeah,
it is
okay, sorry
paren E,
about
not
that.
paren C. Yep.
And can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, then a roll call vote. Mary?
Question? John, you cited that statute, is it in I don't remember it being in the documents, the statute that says it doesn't matter if it's a private concern or a public concern, we're still,
No, we check with legal counsel,
To
and this
public-
matter, because it's a sale of property, it's under this 1985 paren 1, paren E.
right, but
It doesn't matter who you're selling it
Did-
to, from
did-
my understanding.
did you, am I remembering incorrectly? I thought you cited the statute for that.
No. The
Oh,
statute that allows
this
you to
is
go to closed session.
Session, you didn't cite the one that makes no distinction between the
No.
private and the, do you know what that is?
No.
Thank you. Sorry, carry on.
Okay, roll call vote. Mary?
Oppose.
Travis?
Yes.
Yes for myself. Ashley?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
All right, we will go into closed session.
Great job, both of you, and